and the mayor, both saying that all resources possible from that region have already started flooding into the area to help assist.
Yeah, and as we talk, Tom, I'm looking at the latest weather out of that area, out of Northeast Philadelphia Airport, rain and areas of fog. Obviously, we don't know whether this was weather-related, but that will be something that investigators will have a keen eye out for. What were the conditions at the time of this? Tom, this is kind of an airplane is a jet. It's smaller. It likely would not have flown out of a major airport.
No, that's 100% correct, and I'm just checking again the notes from the FAA on this, and the FAA is making a point that it flew out of, I believe, the actual name of that airport. Let me double check. Northeast Philadelphia Airport, so not Philly per se, not the main airport, but Northeast Philadelphia Airport. And that's not uncommon for these medevac flights, for example, to leave from a regional airport and then head to another regional airport. Again, we don't know if there were individuals, how many individuals were really on board, whether there in fact was a patient on board. There are also reports that not only were apartments or homes hit, but so were cars on the ground. Of course, it's a rush hour, 6:30 p.m. Would create the potential for very crowded streets in that area near the Roosevelt Mall. And that video, as I said, would suggest that the fire department is dealing with a significant fire in it looks like a block of row houses there.
And we obviously are all noting, I think, probably personally or out loud, that this, of course, comes on the heels of the collision that you and I are covering here in Washington, Tom. Yeah. Different circumstances, different kinds of airplanes, but understandably rattling for people watching this, having watched what occurred the other night.
No, I think that's absolutely true. We are at Reagan National Airport, where the NTSB says they have now collected the black boxes from both the regional jet and the Army helicopter that crashed into each other over the Potomac River. And we believe there are still victims in the Potomac River, and the recovery efforts continue. But to be clear, that was a case of an airliner that was on its final approach into Reagan Airport, and suddenly, according to the President of the United States and senior investigative sources, hit by an Army helicopter that, according to the President, was flying too high. We are working more on that story, and the developments will come out over the course of the next few days and weeks. Completely separate circumstances and a different type of plane. And again, the one in Philadelphia is not a commercial plane. This is a medevac, we believe, medevac Learjet that, for whatever reason, it appears developed some sort of a very serious problem that then led to a crash.
Yeah, and Tom, we know that these kinds of planes operate under different rules than airliners in terms of what they're required to do. Let me just ask you, do we know if it would have a flight recorder or a cockpit recorder?
You know, that's a very good question, Lester, and I don't have an immediate answer there, in part because you're right. The rules and the regulations as it relates to those paying customers are very different than a private aircraft. And so I don't know that they would have been required to have a black box or black boxes on board this Learjet. Sometimes companies decide they don't want to spend the money on that. Sometimes some do. But we don't have that information about this particular plane in Philadelphia. I can tell you that, yes, both aircraft here did have black boxes in Washington, D.C.
All right, Tom, thanks for that update. Again, if you're just joining us, there's been a plane crash, a small jet in the streets of Philadelphia near a mall. We're still gathering information. You can follow us certainly at NBCnews.com. I'm Lester Holt. Thank you for watching.